Hello. I want to speak about this buy now, pay later. Right off its face, sounds like a great deal. They don't even charge interest. They don't have to. You see, with the buy now, pay later scheme, the scam, it's a mind fuck because you don't look at the price plus the tax and the shipping of what you would pay the whole price for today if you had to buy it today and pay for it today. Um, you look at the four easy payments of $7.95 for the next 4 months or 8 weeks, whatever the time is. But the point is, you're not paying the $70 today, and you're getting the item, and you can return the item if it doesn't work out. So it's a way of keeping the prices high and not having to lower the prices so people will buy their product. They don't have to lower the totality of the price, which is the $70, $80 for the price. They just they could extend the payments from 4 to 5 to whatever, and then by that way cutting down your monthly payment or weekly payment to like $6, $7 or $10 a month. And everybody, they say, "Oh, well, I can handle $10 a month. That's not a problem," and they get the item now. Sounds like a great deal. It's wonderful. I get See now, if I can buy 5 products at $10 a month and spend $50 and get 5 products, uh, and that again ups the company's sales. And they sell 5 products. It goes on their books that they sold 5 products instead of one or none. Because if you had to pay the $50 or $70, you wouldn't buy it, or you'd hold off on buying it, wait for a sale, uh, save your money, stuff like that. Or use a credit card and you pay 20 to 30% interest, which is why that's the scam. They're trying to get you not to pay the 20, 30% interest. But the problem is the product that's $70 isn't worth $70. They can keep the price at $70 because they're only charging you 10. In your mind, they're only charging you 10. Doesn't matter. It keeps going on and on. You know, but that's why they have cell phones going for $1,500, and you pay $50 a month forever. And after a certain amount of time, you can get a new phone, and you still pay $50 a month. But an updated phone. And that's how they keep the $1,500 price there. When the when the phones came out before they did this $1,500 a month thing, or $50 a month, phones cost a couple $100, maybe $100, $300 for a phone. You paid for it outright. It was your phone, and you can go to whatever service you wanted. Now this is where they get you, because when you pay the $50 a month, you're locked into AT&T, you're locked into Verizon or T-Mobile or Boost Mobile. You're locked into those places until you pay off the phone. Back in the old days, when the phone was only $200, $300, or even $50, you could take the phone anywhere and get. Uh, what they did back then is they would say this phone will only work under our service. So you own the phone, but you couldn't use it on any other service. But now you can use an iPhone on any service as long as it's not locked. But it's locked if you're still locked into the $50 a month payment, and you have to pay off the. So if you paid $1,000 and you're $50 a month, you still have to pay $500 to buy the phone and then go to Verizon or another company and use their service. So it's going to cost you $500 to move service. Now, a lot of Verizon and other companies will pay that $500 to have you come to them and get locked into their system, you know. And it's all a manipulation of your mind because you're thinking, I get a new phone and I don't have to spend the 500. You know, it's just like when you do the pay now, buy now and pay later, you're thinking I'm not paying interest, but I'm paying more for it. You know, if they had to sell it at 100% the cost and not have the payment plan, you you wouldn't buy it. It'd be too expensive. But with the payment plan, $10 a month, you buy it. And you might buy 5 other products for $10 a month that you wouldn't normally buy if you couldn't get the $10 a month. So it's all a scam, but the scam doesn't help you. I mean, in the short run, it helps you. It does help you. I can't deny it. You know, you're getting 5 products for $50 that normally cost $250. You know, but in the long run, you're keeping that $250 price at $250, and next time you go back for it, it's going to be 300 or 400 because at 400 they'll say, well, you can get it for $20 a month, you know, and you'll still think, well, $20 a month, I can swing it, you know, that's not so bad. And again, I can get 5 products. It'll cost me $100 a month. I can swing it. It's not costing me $2,000 a month. 2,000 for the initial payment for the whole thing all at once. So, like I said, it's a mind fuck. It just plays with your money. And these companies are experts. They hire experts to come up with these scams to keep the prices high so they can keep their profit margins. That's what it's really about, is their profit margins on the, because it doesn't cost them $80 to make whatever they're selling you. It's made in China for pennies, and they want their profit margin. You know, they have to pay for their advertisement. They have to pay the company that sold it to you, um, even though you were getting it buy now, pay later. You're still paying a credit. There's got to be a credit involved, a credit company involved, and so they got to get paid. And there is risk. A lot of those buy now, pay later. People don't make the payment later. They die. They go bankrupt. They never pay for it, and now they have the product, and nobody wants the product back. So you know they get screwed in a lot of ways like that. But it's just that the main point is that they're keeping the prices high, and they're not motivated to bring the prices down. And by keeping the prices high, keeps you at work, keeps you fighting for that 3% raise because you know the pay later is going to go up, and you need that 3% raise. Because it's no longer $10 a month, now it's $15 a month. So there's no motivation to bring prices down. I mean, I remember I saw Jaws, I saw Grease, I saw Rocky, I saw E.T., I saw Ridgemont High, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, all for $3 a movie ticket. And those were great movies. They were really great movies. You can't rent a streaming movie for $3. You know, and watch it in your home on your iPad. You know, then you would go to the movie theater. You would get the movie for $3. You would get popcorn and soda and candy and all that for like nothing compared to what it is today. And then the thing too was the movie theater I went to watch all those movies. They only played that movie. It wasn't like 8 movies like it is today, and they only played that movie. And they played that movie all day long. And you could stay in the movie theater and watch the movie over and over and over. You didn't have to leave. They wouldn't chase you out. They would just let you sit there, and they hoped you would buy more popcorn and more soda if you sat there, and that probably was the motivation between leaving you there. But it just wasn't part of the mindset, you know. But now it's like the minute the movie's over, you got to get out. They say we got to clean. They give you an excuse. The popcorn is $25. The soda is another $15. And I don't even want to go where the candy goes. But and the ticket alone is $25 for one ticket. And the movie's nowhere near as good as those movies I just mentioned. So, there's no incentive to bring prices down. I mean, politicians, they talk about prices and they don't, they just talk. It's talk. As soon as they get into office, the price doubles. It's like, did the price of eggs come down? Did the price of gas come down? And it's all built into the system that's robbing you. Your house, your mother or father probably bought your house for $50,000, and now it's worth 8 or 900,000. So, and this is not much different. I mean, the $50,000 when they were working at 20 years old, buying, they were 18 to 20 years old, buying a house worth $50,000. Now you're like 40 or 50 before you can buy a house at 800 or 900,000, and the money's just not there, and the prices aren't coming down, and the pay and the salaries aren't going up. And it's tough to make an argument that you want the pay to go up because, well, if they raise your pay, they raise the prices at the store. If I had the power to give all of you, every single one of you watching this video right now, if I had the power to give you $1 million, and let's say that was 1 million people, price of cigarettes would be like $40 or $50 a pack. Price of eggs would be like $12 a dozen. Everything would go up because you got that money. And that's how the scales get balanced. Uh, you get more money, the price goes up. But that's why unions and certain labor departments have to fight for more money every year because the price goes up. Regardless if they get the raise or not, the price goes up because they have to pay their people more money. The price of the house went up, so they have to earn more money to pay for the house, which everybody needs a house in some way, shape, or form. Or the price of rent. Rent goes up every year, 3%. So you have this constant up, 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 up. So when you work, you got to have a constant up, 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 up. Yeah. Uh, it's like the old saying, the king came from the castle and went out to where the commoners were, and there was a commoner with a fruit stand, and the king said he wanted an apple, and the commoner storekeep said the apple cost $20, and the king was shocked. He's like, "What are you talking about? $20 for an apple? You charge everybody else like 10 cents an apple, and you're charging me $20?" And he goes, "I can have you hung and killed in the gallows, and you're charging me $20 an apple." And he says, "Sir King, I'm so sorry, but You're the only one who can afford to pay what it's worth. And that was his explanation. You know, the king could afford the $20. The commoners couldn't. And if he charged $20 to the commoners, he would sell no apples. So that's the problem with prices, you know. And even with that story, if you moved it within time, the $20 apple would become 40, the 15 or 10 cent apple for the common would become 30, and eventually that's what happens. So with the buy now and pay later, you're just offsetting um, the inevitable, you know. And it's a mind fuck because you're not thinking that I'm paying $70 for this shirt or pair of pants or shoes. You're thinking I'm paying $10. You're not, but in your mind you're thinking, oh, they're only going to take $10 out of my account, and I get a shirt or I get a pair of shoes, you know. And I know it sounds good, and I know it's kind of a deal, but it's really a mind fuck because next time you go to buy that shirt, it's going to be $100, and you have to pay $20. And now, if you didn't have this buy now, pay later, you wouldn't buy the $70 shirt. Like, I'm not paying $70 for a shirt, you know, and they wouldn't make the sale, and the prices would come down because demand wouldn't be there, and demand and supply determine price, supposedly. Uh, See, with the $10, the demand goes up, the price goes up. With the $70, the demand goes down, the price goes down. So now they'll be talking to you. All right, we won't charge you $70 for this shirt. We'll charge you 40, and you might buy it, you know. But that goes away with buy now, pay later, because they don't need to negotiate. You're gonna buy it at $10. So I mean, not in all instances, of course, but it's hard for you to fathom that you're paying $70 for this shirt when you actually are. And with the $70, now you have higher sales tax because sales tax is a percentage of the price. Uh, the shipping, eh, sometimes it's free, and if it is, that keeps the $70 at $70 because you got to pay for the shipping, you got to cover the shipping, and it's just, I know if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And they don't care that you're kicking the can down the road. And eventually, the road's going to be full of a lot of cans. And you're not going to be able to afford to clean them all up. And that's the problem.